We eat 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This pattern feels completely normal. It feels natural, almost essential. Most of us plan our lives around these meals. Work, school, and social gatherings often revolve around them. But have you ever stopped to truly question this habit? Where did this specific structure of eating come from? Is it a rule set by our bodies, by our biology? Or is it something else entirely, something we have learned? The truth is, eating 3 meals daily is not a biological need. It is more of a cultural habit, a tradition passed down. Many societies throughout history did not follow this pattern. Even today, eating habits vary widely across the globe. Some cultures eat 2 main meals. Others eat more frequently. The idea of a universal 3 meals is a modern one. It became common relatively recently in human history. Understanding this can change how we view our own eating. This rigid schedule of 3 meals profoundly shapes our days. It dictates when we feel hungry or when we think we should be. Our workdays are often built around a midday lunch break. Families might see dinner time as a key moment for connection. The expectation to eat at these times is strong. It is woven into the very fabric of our society. We often eat by the clock, not by our body's true cues. This unthinking adherence deserves a closer look. In this essay, we will explore this 3-meal tradition. Early humans did not sit down for 3 scheduled meals. Their eating patterns were far more unpredictable and opportunistic. They ate when food was available and when they were hungry. This often meant periods of feast alternating with periods of famine. Their primary daily concern was securing enough food to survive. Life was a constant search for sustenance, not a timed event. The concept of a regular mealtime simply did not exist. Energy needs and food availability dictated their consumption. Hunter-gatherer societies, for instance, followed different rhythms. They moved with the seasons and the migration of animals. They gathered plants when they were ripe and plentiful. Their meals were irregular, dictated by the success of the hunt, or the abundance of foraged foods like berries, nuts, and roots. There was no clock on the wall, no set lunch break. They ate to fuel their bodies for the demands of their lives. This way of eating was perfectly adapted to their environment. Ancient civilizations started to bring more structure to eating. The Industrial Revolution, starting in the late 18th century, changed life. It moved large numbers of people from farms to factories. Work became regimented, dictated by the clock and machinery. This shift had a profound impact on how and when people ate. Agricultural life had allowed for more flexible eating schedules. Factory life, however, demanded synchronization and strict timing. The old ways of eating no longer fit the new industrial pace. A new order for meals began to emerge from this change. Factory work involved long, grueling hours away from home. Workers could not easily return home for meals during the day. Employers started to introduce standardized, short break times. This was a new concept for many who were used to rural life. These breaks were just long enough for a quick bite to eat. The need to sustain energy for demanding labor was paramount. This led to the development of specific meal slots during work. The structured workday started to structure eating habits too. The idea of a distinct midday meal, which we call lunch, solidified. It was designed to refuel workers for the second half of their shift. Breakfast also gained importance as a necessary start to the day. It provided energy before heading off for many hours of labor. Dinner then became the meal eaten after returning home from work. This 3-part structure, breakfast, lunch, dinner, began to take hold. It was a practical response to the new demands of industrial labor. This pattern provided a framework for daily sustenance and energy. This new rhythm of eating gradually spread beyond factory walls. It was adopted by other institutions like schools and offices. The structured workday became the norm for much of society. And with it, the 3-meal schedule became standard practice. It offered a sense of order and predictability in a changing world. What began as a necessity for industrial workers evolved. It became a widespread cultural expectation for almost everyone. The factory whistle, in a way, called us all to the table. Section 4, Selling Satiety, the Marketing of Mealtime Norms. Once the 3-meal structure began to take root, businesses saw an opening. Food companies realized that a predictable eating schedule was good for sales. If people believed they needed 3 distinct meals each day, they would naturally buy more food products to fill those slots. This created a powerful incentive to promote and reinforce the pattern. Marketing efforts soon began to shape public perception about meals. The idea of 3 square meals a day started to be actively sold. It was presented not just as a habit but as a healthy ideal. Breakfast cereals provide a classic example of this marketing power. Before the late 19th century, American breakfasts were often heavy. They might include leftover meats from dinner or cooked grains. Then came figures like John Harvey Kellogg, a physician and inventor. He advocated for lighter, grain-based breakfasts for health reasons. He, along with his brother, developed and marketed cornflakes. Their campaigns successfully positioned cereal as the ideal modern breakfast. This helped solidify breakfast as an essential, distinct meal. Edward Bernays, often called the father of public relations, also played a part. In the 1920s, he was hired by the Beechnut Packing Company. His task was to increase consumer demand for bacon. Bernays consulted a physician who agreed a hearty breakfast was good. He then publicized this medical opinion widely. He promoted bacon and eggs as a substantial, healthy American breakfast. This campaign was incredibly successful in shifting eating habits. It further entrenched the idea of a specific type of breakfast. Through magazines, newspapers, and later radio and television, marketing messages continuously reinforced the three-meal norm. Advertisements showed happy families enjoying breakfast together. They depicted hard-working men needing a hearty lunch. They portrayed elegant dinners as the hallmark of a good life. These images and messages were pervasive and influential. They helped to transform a developing habit into a deeply ingrained cultural belief. The three-meal day became not just common, but expected. Section 5. Science questions the clock, new views on meal frequency. For many decades, the three-meal-a-day model was widely accepted. It was often presented as the cornerstone of a healthy diet. Nutrition advice frequently centered on eating regular, balanced meals. The assumption was that this pattern helped maintain stable energy. It was also thought to prevent overeating at any single meal. However, modern nutritional science is taking a more nuanced view. Researchers are questioning the rigidity of this traditional advice. The evidence supporting 3 meals as uniquely optimal is not strong. Current scientific understanding suggests meal frequency itself is less critical. What appears to matter more is the overall quality of the diet. This includes the total number of calories consumed throughout the day. The nutrient density of the foods chosen is also very important. Are you getting enough vitamins, minerals, protein, and fiber? Portion control plays a significant role in managing weight and health. Eating 6 small meals or 2 large ones might be fine, as long as these other factors are properly managed. The rise of intermittent fasting has also challenged old norms. This eating approach involves cycling between periods of eating and voluntary fasting. There are various methods, such as the 16-8 method or alternate day fasting. Some studies suggest potential benefits for weight management. Others point to improvements in metabolic health markers. For many people, this means eating fewer, often larger meals, or confining all eating to a specific window of time each day. This directly contradicts the traditional 3-meal advice. Ultimately, there is likely no single best meal frequency for everyone. Individual responses to different eating patterns can vary greatly. Factors like genetics, age, and activity level play a role. Metabolic health and specific health conditions also matter. Personal preferences and lifestyle are important considerations too. Listening to your body's hunger and satiety cues is crucial. Science is moving away from one-size-fits-all dietary rules. It is heading towards more personalized nutrition guidance. Section 6. Beyond breakfast, lunch, and dinner, finding your food freedom. The idea that we must eat 3 meals a day is powerful, but it is important to remember that it is not an unbreakable law. It is a tradition, a cultural construct with a specific history. It emerged from societal changes and was reinforced by commerce. While it can provide structure, it does not define healthy eating. We have the freedom to question this established norm. We can explore what truly works best for our own bodies. This understanding can be quite liberating for many of us. Knowing the history of our eating habits is empowering. It helps us see that the 3-meal schedule is not biologically mandated. It arose from the demands of the Industrial Revolution. It was solidified by clever marketing and social convention. This knowledge allows us to detach from the idea that it is correct. We can then begin to think more critically about our own patterns. Are we eating based on the clock, or based on genuine hunger? Are our meal times serving us, or are we serving them? Take a moment to consider your body's natural signals. When do you actually feel hungry throughout the day? When do you feel most energized after eating? Do set meal times sometimes force you to eat when not hungry, or do they make you wait too long, leading to overeating? Social pressures can also influence when and what we eat. Becoming more aware of these internal and external cues is key. This awareness is the first step toward a more intuitive way of eating. You can explore different eating patterns to find your fit. Perhaps 2 larger meals a day suit your lifestyle better. Maybe several smaller mini meals keep your energy stable. The key is to focus on whole, unprocessed foods. Pay attention to nutrient quality and appropriate portion sizes. Mindful eating, savoring your food, is also important. The goal is not to follow another rigid set of rules. It is to find a sustainable, healthy, and joyful relationship with food.